If you like storytime vibes, hit subscribe and let's dive in together.
I just checked our joint account, and half of our savings were gone. That's how it started. No warning, no discussion, just thousands of dollars missing overnight. I stared at the numbers, my chest tight, my pulse pounding. When I confronted my wife, she didn't even flinch. She just said, "Relax, babe, I invested it, in crypto. We're gonna be rich." That was the moment I realized something had snapped. Not just in our marriage, but in my faith in her. We'd been married a little over 3 years. She moved from Europe to Toronto for me, and at first it felt like something out of a dream. She was charming, intelligent, and ambitious. Back in Europe, she'd studied in a healthcare field, one that could earn her 6 figures here in Canada. All she needed to do was pass one exam. But somehow, that exam never happened. For nearly 3 years, she didn't work. She said she needed time to adjust. I didn't mind at first. I was making around 6 figures myself, and I believed in her. I told myself she just needed time to get comfortable, to build confidence. I was patient. I encouraged her gently, lovingly. When she finally decided to work, it was at a coffee shop. She said she just wanted something light to get her started. I supported her, even though deep down I was frustrated. I kept thinking, if she'd passed that exam 2 years ago, we could have been homeowners by now. Instead, we were barely saving anything in one of the most expensive cities in the world. I never pressured her about money, but whenever I tried to talk about our future, buying a house, planning for kids, she'd twist my words. "You only care about money," she'd say. "You just want me to be your ATM." That cut deep, because it wasn't true. I didn't care if she made more or less than me. I cared that she had no direction, no plan, that she was turning her back on everything she'd worked for. I wanted us to be a team. I wanted to build something together. But she had other plans. One evening, I came home and found her sitting at the kitchen table, laptop open, charts flashing on the screen. She looked excited, almost manic. "I figured it out," she said. "Crypto trading. That's the future. I'm done with healthcare. This is how we get rich." I felt my stomach drop. She wasn't joking. She'd already joined online groups, bought training courses, and, without telling me, pulled thousands from our joint savings to fund her portfolio. I tried to stay calm. I told her it was risky, that she didn't even understand the basics of the market. She rolled her eyes. "You have a scarcity mindset," she said. "You think too small. Money comes to those who believe." I almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. We weren't talking about faith. We were talking about numbers, rent, groceries, reality. But she didn't want to hear it. Whenever I brought up our finances, she'd call me low vibrational. Whenever I asked about her plan, she'd say, "Just trust me." The more she chased her crypto dream, the more distant she became. We stopped sharing meals. She'd stay up all night watching trading videos, eyes glued to her screen, while I lay awake in the dark beside her, wondering where the woman I married had gone. Then came the breaking point. I came home early one day and saw her at the dining table again. But this time, she wasn't alone. A guy I didn't recognize was sitting beside her, showing her something on his laptop. She looked different. The way she smiled at him wasn't professional. When she noticed me, she jumped. "This is Alex," she said too quickly. "He's helping me with my investments." I shook his hand, but inside my mind was spinning. Alex, her mentor, younger, slick, confident. That night I checked her messages. What I found shattered me. Flirty texts, late-night calls, and worse, plans to move the rest of the money into his account to make the big trade. My heart was pounding, but my head was clear. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I met with our bank the next morning, froze our joint account, and pulled every financial document into my name. Quietly, methodically. Then I waited. 2 days later, she came running to me, furious. "What happened to the account?" I looked her in the eye and said calmly, "I protected what's left." She exploded, calling me controlling, manipulative, untrusting. I let her vent. When she was done, I showed her the screenshots of her messages with Alex. Her face went pale. For a long moment, she just stood there. Then she whispered, "You were never supposed to see that." "No," I said. "I wasn't supposed to lose everything because of your fantasy." She packed her things that night and left, for Alex, I assume. I didn't chase her. A month later, I heard through mutual friends that her investment tanked. Alex disappeared with what little money she had left. Her dream of easy wealth turned into debt and humiliation. Meanwhile, I rebuilt my life, slowly but honestly. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about her, about how love can turn into delusion, how ambition can rot into greed. She used to talk about buying her parents a house. Now she's back in Europe, living with them again, broke, bitter, blaming everyone but herself. And me? I'm finally at peace. I learned that love without shared responsibility is just dependency dressed as partnership. That trust isn't about blind faith. It's about mutual effort, about showing up when it's hard. If there's one lesson I took from all this, it's simple. And my friend? A relationship can survive many things, but it cannot survive one person building while the other burns everything down.